What is good? What is up? What is up with everybody, man? Shout out to everybody who watched the last vid, everybody that came to the last live that we did here. This week, right? All right. So this week, just want to speak about this week a little bit. So this week, what I did is I had an overall theme. So if you've seen all the videos that I had and everything that I dropped, then you would have noticed that there's a kind of like a similar theme across all of them in the one that's coming tomorrow. And more importantly, it all sets everything up for like this very big question that I have here, right? And the question that I have this week is, are modern games doing too much? Are they pushing too far? Are they creeping to levels that we don't need them to creep to? That is the question that I want to pose this week, because there are a lot of games out there, right? A lot of ambitious games. Some of them do great, others fall short, right? They fall short of what we expect of them. They fall short of what we would like from them, right? But there is one game in particular. There's one game in particular that I want to speak about, and there's one that you probably heard of. And the name of the game is called Star Citizen, right? And if I could pull it up, if I could get 1 second to pull that up, that would be great. Here we go. It's a game called Star Citizen, a really cool game, a really ambitious game, a game that a lot of people swear by. A lot of people feel like, listen, this is the space game for me, all right? And they believed in the vision behind Star Citizen. They believed in everything that was said about the game, everything that was promised from the game. And um there's also a group of people that feel, you know what? This game ain't really happening, bro. Like, this game isn't really gonna ever really get released fully. Like, a lot of people believe that. Fair enough, right? Because the game started, it was launched back in 2013, right? What's that, like 12, 13 years? It was launched, right? Not even launched, but it was announced and it was kickstarted back then. So it came to life in 2013, April of 2013, right? And back then, listen, the pledges were pretty simple. $5, electro skin, and Star Citizen looked really, really different then. And we're gonna take a look at that in a second. But Star Citizen did an amazing thing, because they actually raised $2 million out of the $500,000 that they said that they needed to be able to make this game. 34,000 people backed that. Now keep that in mind. Now they had a $5 pledge, they had a $10 pledge, $30 pledge, $30 pledge. I think the top pledge was what? The top pledge was $110. What was the top pledge? The top pledge was $1,000, right? Sorry, 2,500. Okay, maybe these were the stretch goals. No, okay. So the top pledge that you could pledge back then was $10,000. Now back then, one person did that. So that's one person that did that. One person did the 5,000. We had three people do the 2,500, and 22 did the 1,000. But outside of that, 500, you had 115. So it sat around this area for a while, right? So you got to think, a bulk of these people actually probably bought in around maybe like the $100 range, $60 range, right? And that was back then. Now, as of today, when we talk about Star Citizen, they have amassed $930 million. That's a lot of cheese. All right, that's a lot of cheddar. And this is a big contention point for a lot of people. They're like, man, they had this game in early alpha since like forever, right? Like, they had this game since the start. Like, this game is not done. It should have been done by now. It should have been finished by now, and it's not. That's what a lot of people feel, and rightfully so. But a lot of people feel like that's not going to be the case with Star Citizen. Like, they have like a ton of cool ships. They have a ton of cool stuff that you can readily buy as well, on top of everything that you may have bought in the past. And I can't lie. I can't say that none of this stuff is cool because a lot of this stuff is just awesome looking, man. It looks awesome. I mean, simply to say, it looks awesome. But now, 13 years later, I think the question is: has Star Citizen pushed too far? Was it too ambitious for its bridges? Was it getting too big for its bridges and doing too much, more or biting off more than it could chew? And I think that's the question that I really want to ask today as we really dive into Star Citizen. So, found this video here by Captain Katarn, right? It came out 3 weeks ago, which is awesome for him. And I really think that it really encompasses what Star Citizen is today. And then what we're going to do, we're going to look at Mr. Katron's video, right? We're going to look at Captain Katron's video. And then from there, we're going to really try to determine whether or not Star Citizen itself was really, really worth it, right? Like, if it was what people are saying it is, if it is like, like some people say it's a scam or whatever the case is, right? Let's look at what the game is today, 13 years later. All right, let's check it out.
If you've never played Star Citizen, the first thing you need to know is that the reputation you've heard isn't completely wrong. This game took a long time to get here, and along the way it missed plenty of deadlines. It also raised a lot of money, and before you snicker about $1 billion, it's worth pointing out that this vision resonated with a massive number of people. For years, it was easier to talk about what Star Citizen might become than what it actually was. But that's not the case anymore. In 2026, Star Citizen is a real playable game.
Hold on, that's what I'm talking about with Star Citizen. Star Citizen isn't just like a one-off. Like, even this, right? Like I played the game. I haven't played the game like massively. Like, I haven't put tons of hours in it. But even this, like, I'd never even seen this before.
Than what it actually was.
Like, what is this? Like, what is
26,
that?
Star Citizen is a 2026. Star Citizen is a real
I've
play
never
to talk
seen
about
that
what
before.
Star Citizen might become than what it actually was.
Like, what is this? You know what I'm saying? So this is why I can't really get behind the whole idea when people say, Star Citizen is a scam. It's not a real game, and they're scamming you. It's hard because it's like in 2026, right? There's still things happening in Star Citizen where I'm like, I've never seen this before. I've never seen this before, ever. I don't even know what this is. This is like some new alien stuff. I don't know. Let's continue though.
It was, but that's not the case anymore. In 2026, Star Citizen is a real playable game. Oh, to be clear, it still has rough edges. There are bugs that will frustrate you from time to time, and I'm not going to pretend otherwise. But it works often enough that you can sit down, plan a session, and reasonably expect to get something done. That might not sound impressive, but for this game, that's the difference between a tech demo and an actual experience.
I can agree that Star Citizen is very rough. It's very rough around the edges. Have a lot of performance problems, and I don't have like the most in-depth beefiest PC that you could imagine. I don't listen. I'm not a PC guy. I can tell you right now, I don't even know what's in my PC. I think it's a 40 something. I don't know, boy. Like I got a pre-made PC. That's how much of a noob I am, and how much I don't want to build a PC. But it does have its problems, Star Citizen, and I think that's kind of what's amazing about Star Citizen as well, because it has its problems. It has issues like jittering, stuff clipping through the train as you're driving around, riding around, and stuff like that happens, right? And I'll see it happen, and I'm like, okay, I'm still playing. Like, I'm still playing the game. Like, I'm not turning the game off for that. Like, that's not enough. You're going to have to do a lot more for me to want to turn it off, because Star Citizen is an amazing experience. And I haven't put in a lot of hours, like I said, because Star Citizen is a game that I don't want to get stale for me before it actually matures and becomes exactly what I want it to, what it's supposed to be, right? I don't want to play it so much that I'm like so used to Star Citizen by the time it really drops. Then I really want to play Star Citizen. I put 1,000 hours into Star Citizen before it dropped. It's kind of, defeating to me, so I won't do it. Anyway.
Oh yeah, and you can play in an experimental VR mode too. What Star Citizen offers that most games don't is scale that isn't faked. You wake up in your hangar inside a major city. You can walk around the spaceport or head deeper into the city itself to shop or explore. You can board your ship, fly into orbit, and jump to another planet without a single loading screen resetting the world around you. Even traveling through a wormhole into another star system is seamless. Other players are really there, up to roughly 600 per shard as of this video, all doing their own thing whether you interact with them or not. If you're wondering what you actually do in Star Citizen, the short answer is most of the things you'd expect in a grounded space fantasy. You can mine, salvage, haul cargo, run missions, fight in space and on foot, smuggle and sell contraband, bounty hunt, explore massive facilities, or support other players doing any of the above.
I just like doing whatever I want in Star Citizen. And all of those things are true. Like, you can do every last one of those things. One thing that kind of bothers me about it, and I'm sure it's going to come when the game is actually finished, but I don't have any, like, gamepad support, bro. Like, I despise playing with my mouse and keyboard. I cannot stand it. I can't stand it, man. It's just, I don't know, man. I've been a controller guy forever, and just trying to play with mouse and keyboard, it just doesn't work for me all the time, you know. So the game, it does support like controller. Don't get me wrong, I am wrong there. I can use my controller, but it's just not that good. That's all. I wish it was better.
Shortly after this video goes live, item crafting should be available as well. And based on how development is tracking, I'd expect some form of base building to arrive by the end of 2026. What's different now is that these activities finally connect mining and salvage feed resources into crafting and manufacturing.
Another thing, like I've never seen this. I didn't know this was available. This is what I'm talking about. I'm kind of mad that I'm watching this video right now because I would like to like just kind of happenstance and come across this stuff as opposed to knowing that it's there, because there's a ton of things. Like if you just go into Star Citizen, you won't even know it's there unless you're actively looking for it or looking at videos to see what else they put in.
Manufacturing feeds trade. Cargo exists because everything is physicalized and needed somewhere else. What you do has the potential to matter beyond your own bank balance. But before this turns into a conversation about money, it's worth clearing something up. Despite the headlines and the funding numbers, you don't need to spend a fortune to play Star Citizen. The same $45 starter package gets you into the entire game with access to all of these systems. Everything else can be earned in-game over time. If someone tells you there's nothing to do in Star Citizen, what they usually mean is they're stuck in a rut. I've been there, logging in and doing the same damn thing every time. Same mission type.
That's exactly why. See, that's exactly what I'm saying. This is why I don't play Star Citizen so much, because I don't want to get stuck in that point where I'm like, man, I keep doing the same thing. I'm tired of it. I don't want that. So I'll play Star Citizen. I'll jump in. I'll see what it has to offer. And then after a while, I'll turn it off. I'll come back in like a month or 2 months or a few months, and then I'll play it again and just see where it's at. And yeah. But one thing I can say is every time I jump back in, the performance has had problems every single time.
Same ship, same loop. Eventually the game starts feeling shallow because you're only seeing one slice of it. Star Citizen doesn't push you toward variety. It doesn't hold your hand and say, try this instead. If you fall into a routine, the game will absolutely let you stay there. And if you judge it from that narrow lane, it can feel repetitive fast.
I mean, technically, right? This is Star Citizen, right? So when you think about a game called Star Citizen and what it's planning to be, it's a game where you can literally be have a simulated life within this game, right? So to say you're stuck in a rut and you do the same thing every day, well, technically, you're just living your life, bro. Like you just living your Star Citizen life. And I don't know what's beyond the things that they have here. Like I said, I know a handful of things you can do in Star Citizen, but I know as they add more, you can change your life, right? You can do maybe become a bounty hunter, or maybe just live a posh life and do fancy stuff within the game. Who knows? I don't know. It depends on where they take it. But I think that is really good that you actually have no hand holding in the game, and there's actually points where you don't know what to do. I think personally, and this is my personal experience with video games, I feel like that is the best part of any game. And that's what I'm trying to kind of preserve with Star Citizen right now, where it's like, I don't want to make it so I know how to do everything. Like I was struggling to request to leave the spaceport at one point. And I'm glad. I'm like, I had to figure this out on my own, because once it becomes second nature and you're just able to do it, that's where it starts to get plain and bland, and that's not what I want to do. And yeah, so Star Citizen, man, it's been great ever since I played it, and it's been worth the money that I spent on it so far, which was just the starter pack, like this guy.
Most of the best moments in Star Citizen don't come from optimized gameplay loops. They come from switching roles, following a lead, tagging along with other players, or chasing something that wasn't part of the plan when you logged in. One night you're hauling cargo, the next you're helping someone run a huge multiplayer ship. The game absolutely shines with multiplayer interactions.
That's fire.
If you treat it like a checklist or a grind, it's going to feel empty. But if you approach it like a sandbox and let things unfold, that's where the game opens up. That's not for everyone.
Bro, this is so cool. Do you see like that? Like they're hands down probably the best ship design in any space game ever, Star Citizen. And I'm not even trying to glaze the game. I think that anybody that's a fan of any space game would agree that they have like the best ship design. Like look at the landing bay in the back of this huge, massive ship. I don't know the name of it, but this is crazy.
But it's why people who stick with the game tend to have stories instead of just stats. At launch, Star Citizen will hold your hand more with a main quest line, but that's not here just yet. You need to provide your own direction for now. Combat works differently than most space games. It's slower and more deliberate. Ships are built around components, and engineering plays a real role in keeping multi-crew ships flying and fighting. Power management, heat, component health, and positioning all matter. You can play solo, and a lot of people do, but larger ships clearly reward teamwork. Flying something big without help is possible, but you feel the limitations very quickly. PvP exists if that's your thing, whether that's bounty hunting other players or leaning into the space pirate lifestyle. Those encounters carry more weight than they used to as resources start to matter in the game, and more systems are coming that are meant to give those roles real danger and real consequence.
This is so hard to say that like Star Citizen has feature creep or Star Citizen is too ambitious for its own good, because like look at what it is. Like look what it's become, man. Like it's from where it started to where it is now. It's like okay, fine. They almost raised $1 billion. That's not by chance, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's another thing. It's not by chance. It's not like people are just like getting strongholded to give the money up. These are people that willingly want to check out the game because the game is quite frankly cool. It's crazy. So it's not by happenstance that they're making that much money, right? But look at what the game is today. It's not like, okay, to say a game is too ambitious is this, and this is my opinion. If I say a game is too ambitious, what I'm saying is the game says that game A says it wants to be this. It wants to build ships that fly with no loading screens. This is what game A says, right? Now, game A says this, and then game A can't even make sure that the game has like the basic stuff in it. It barely holds together the basic stuff, right? And then it says it wants to do seamless flight. To me, that's too ambitious because you can't even do the basic things like, all right, your menu system just doesn't work, or your control schemes are just weird or something like that. And it's like, if you can't do that, how can you do the tougher thing, right? Now, when it comes to CIG and it comes to Star Citizen, they said that they wanted to make a space sim, right? They did that. Then they took it to another level. They said they want to be able to have free space flight, and they want to have systems, and they want to have this and that and the third. And then everything that they said they wanted to do, they did it. Now, did they do it right? Did they do it perfectly? No. Hell no. No, not at all. They didn't do it perfectly. But regardless, it's like what they've done and where they've taken it, it's hard to not be hopeful for where it's going to be in the future is what I'm saying.
Instead of disposable fights. Star Citizen also treats death very differently than most MMOs, and this is one of those systems that quietly shapes everything else, even if you don't fully feel it yet. Long term, the game is built around something called Death of a Spaceman, and the core idea is simple. Dying is supposed to matter. Most online games train you into a YOLO mindset. You rush in, take dumb risks, die, respawn, and try again because nothing really sticks. Over time, that turns combat and danger into mundane activities. Star Citizen is deliberately trying to move away from that. Eventually, when your character dies, you won't just wake up and move on like nothing happened. Injuries can carry forward. You might suffer long-term medical issues, lose access to certain perks, or even have parts of your body replaced. If you push your luck too many times, your character can permanently die, and you continue on as a successor.
That's actually kind of crazy. That's actually kind of wild. So, yeah, so you get offed in Star Citizen, and you could be like offed, like gone, and then you have a successor that, wow. Yeah, that's crazy. I don't think I've ever seen that done. I think he said something about Death of a Spaceman. I've never heard of that one, but That's crazy.
Ships and items carry forward, but with inheritance taxes along the way. The goal isn't to punish you, it's to make survival meaningful. Risk becomes something you think about instead of something you ignore. The most fun I've ever had in a game was playing a pre-CU Jedi in Star Wars Galaxies. If I died, I could lose a week's worth of grinding XP, and it made every encounter with bounty hunters tense in a way no other game has ever matched.
Ah, man, that sounds cool, but I could just see it, bro. I could see people just complaining about that, man. Like, why? What? I grinded for a month and I lost everything because that's how the game works now. I don't want it to work that way. I could see it. I could see it. But that is like hardcore immersion, bro, where you can literally lose everything. You can lose everything. Right? And this is what we're talking about. We're talking about games being too ambitious and doing far too much. Even when he says this, something that I didn't know about, right? I feel like it can be done. You know why? Because they've done so much already. It's like, it's hard to say, like, yeah, they maybe won't be able to do that. You feel like they can do everything because of what they've accomplished so far with this game. It's amazing.
And don't worry, Star Citizen isn't aiming to be draconian on that scale. The point isn't brutal punishment. It's giving weight to your choices. Living a long career, avoiding unnecessary fights, and surviving to old age under that system would actually be impressive, not just expected. That full system isn't live yet, but pieces of it already exist.
That'd be crazy. That'd be crazy. So with that, right, they're going to have to add like some type of system where like you age in Star Citizen. Like your character has to be able to get older. Like maybe eventually your character will have gray hair or something like that. But you have to be able to get older because then it would really make sense. Like you see a character in Star Citizen with that system and you see somebody walking around with gray hair, it actually means something. Like, bro, your character never got off in this game ever because you still have gray hair. And maybe they might have like a cybernetic arm because maybe they lost the arm and took so many injuries. That's cool. That's cool. That makes you want to play the game. It's expression, it's creativity as a player if they had that system. But I think that would be amazing. That really got me excited for a second.
Injury, medical gameplay, persistence, and recovery mechanics are laying the groundwork. As more of it comes online, it's going to change how people approach combat, exploration, and decision-making in a big way. When death stops being disposable, everything else suddenly feels heavier, and in a game like this, that has so much meaning. All of this doesn't mean Star Citizen is user-friendly in the traditional sense. The learning curve is steep, the UI is dense, and the current inventory system is rough enough that even the developers have committed to replacing it. The game doesn't always explain itself well, and you'll probably be confused at first. If you decide to give it a real shot and want a smoother on-ramp, I'm building a Star Citizen Academy tutorial series that walks you through the basics without wasting your time.
I'm not gonna lie, like that's one thing I'm gonna say that I don't agree with is that, you know, he's making a tutorial so you don't waste your time. You're not wasting your time. Like, not knowing what to do in Star Citizen, you're absolutely not wasting your time. Like, I have to say that because like I said, and like I say all the time when it comes to games, not knowing is the best part. Like, you'll get to a point in Star Citizen, just like any other game, where it's like, you kind of got everything down. You know exactly what to do. And when you get to that point with a game, it's easy to move on because it's like, well, you know, I know everything, right? Like, I know how to do everything. You want to move on for a specific reason, though. You want to move on because you reach the point where it's like, I need to challenge myself. I need to not know something and then learn it because, you know this game like the back of your hand. So I don't think that, like, not knowing, like, how to take off, how to land, how to request docking at a space station is necessarily a waste of your time. You know, take the game slow, experience it, have a good time. That's all I'm saying pretty much at the end of the day.
I'll link it in the description as it goes live. Of course, there are still bugs. Missions sometimes break mid-mission. AI can swing between deadly accurate and completely comatose. Monthly patches make major strides, but they can also introduce new problems. If you expect a perfectly polished experience, this still isn't it. Star Citizen values ambition and scale over smooth edges, and that trade-off hasn't gone away. The business model is another thing new players worry about. You can buy expensive ships, and that's how the game is funded, but you don't need to. I genuinely recommend the lowest tier starter package. Years ago, the only way to get ships was with your wallet. Now everything can be earned in-game, and skill and planning matter far more than what you start with. Within a day or two, you'll be rolling in credits. It's not a punishing grind. Buying ships with real money gives you immediate access to gameplay options, not immunity from consequences. Star Citizen isn't pay to win, at least not in any meaningful sense. There's nothing to win. People play this game for very different.
Bro, look at the lighting. The lighting is sick, bro. It's sick, bro. I'm not gonna lie. The lighting is sick, bro. Like, you can tell, like, Chris Roberts, he had, like, a lot of love and passion for this game. Like, he had a ton of love and passion for this because it looks amazing. I'm not gonna lie, man.
Different reasons, and no single fighter ship defines the experience. So should you try Star Citizen in 2026? If you're looking for a fast, guided, easily digestible space game, this probably isn't it. Star Citizen is deep, sometimes overwhelming, and still evolving. It asks you to slow down, learn systems, and accept that failure is part of the initial experience. But if you want a living science fiction universe where scale feels real, where your choices have weight, and where no two sessions play out the same way, this is finally a reasonable time to jump in. Player counts are higher than they've ever been. Development momentum is real, and for the first time, the game feels confident in what it already is instead of what it promises to be. It isn't finished, and it may never be finished in the traditional sense, even after CIG considers it released. Star Citizen is built as a living MMO designed to grow for decades through ongoing development and expansion. But in 2026, Star Citizen is stable enough, deep enough, and bold enough to earn your time. And there genuinely isn't anything else like it. Games like...
I agree. It's nothing like this game that I've ever played. And that's kind of the reason why I'm straight up savoring the game at this point. No lie.
Elite Dangerous handle scale well, but they abstract almost everything that makes a universe feel physical. Ships function more like interfaces than places you inhabit. Interaction is mostly transactional. No Man's Sky leans even further into the arcade side of the genre, and the procedural portion of the game cheapens the experience, to me at least. Star Citizen goes the opposite direction. It commits to physicalized ships, real interiors, persistent worlds, and systems that keep running whether you're there or not. That depth comes with issues, but it also creates moments no other space game can touch. And if you're still on the fence, don't take my word for it. Try it yourself for free. Star Citizen runs regular free fly events where you can jump in, fly ships, and see exactly how it feels, without spending $1. If you decide to create an account and want a head start, I've got a referral link in the description that gives you 50,000 extra starting credits when you begin. Use it or don't, either way, the best way to understand this game is to actually spend time in it. And if you want to see what that experience looks like in practice, whether it's getting started, choosing your first ship, or surviving those early sessions, I've got videos on screen right now that'll show you exactly what kind of universe this is and whether it's for you. If you've never played Star Citizen...
Yeah, man. Star Citizen. Star Citizen is it's great in my opinion. In my humble, casual opinion, Star Citizen is great. But when we talk about the topic of games being too ambitious, I feel like this is like at the peak of ambition. Like, I feel like when you talk about ambition, when you talk about ambitious games, Star Citizen is just the upper echelon of that, because they built the engine from the ground up. They've made everything. Everything is handcrafted within this game. There's no procedural generation stuff going on here. They made everything within this. And when you say are games too ambitious, I wouldn't necessarily say that they're too ambitious. What I will say is that some games set the bar high and they don't follow through on everything that needs to be followed through with when it comes to the development of a game. So are today's games, AAA games, too ambitious? I wouldn't say that. I would say some and a lot are not ambitious enough. Like I feel like a lot don't push the boundaries. A lot kind of just try to stay safe and do whatever is going to make the dollars. But honestly and truthfully, I think games like Star Citizen are needed in the gaming space. I think they're needed in the gaming world because they show us that, we can go further than what we currently do in gaming. And that's something that I welcome for sure. But yeah, man, that's about it, man. Short video, casually speaking. Let me know in the comments if you're watching this now, whether you're watching this later. If you're watching this now, thank you so much for chilling with me for sure. But if you're watching this later, let me know in the comments. Do you feel like games today can be far too ambitious? Yes, no, maybe, whatever it is. I'm always down to have conversations with you. Thank you so much.